Yes, I said it. This game is like when Demon Slayer and Dead Cells had a baby, and voila, Japanese Dead Cells is born. It's just that the visual effects and graphics reminds me of Kimetsu no Yaiba because they are actually both inspired by the Japanese ukiyo-e art style, and I compliment this game by comparing it to this level of production. Just right out the bat, this game's art style is just phenomenal. It's the type of game that would definitely catch the audience attention on first time seeing it. It's a side-scrolling hack-and-slash action game in a stunning dark fantasy world. And you play as GetsuFuma, as the Natsuki Subaru of this world because you wield the otherworldly arsenal and powers of Getsu clan as you overcome multiple deaths. And your goal is to descend deeper into the depths of hell, slaying demons along the way to eradicate the source of cataclysm. And this game is actually published by... wait, Konami? Are you guys sure this ain't a pachinko game? This game is actually a sequel, or we could also say it's a soft reboot of a 35-year-old game which is also named GetsuFumaDen, released in 1987 from a family computer game. And so I'm here to present to you the best and the good features of the game, but also the bad and the ugly. My honest review of GetsuFumaDen Undying Moon. Welcome to a Noob's Perspective. First, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the graphics and art style of this game. Japanese ukiyo-e art style is one of many revolutionary art styles that represents Japan's international identity. And if you're into that kind of art, well, this game surely delivers and you're in for a treat. But there are times that the effects are too much and obstructing crucial moments for dodging and attacking, negatively affecting the gameplay. And for that, I'll give the theme and quality a solid 8 out of 10. But as for the visual style, it will be a high 9 for the gorgeous Japanese ukiyo-e art direction of this game. And last for this category is the immersion factor. It will be an 8 for its consistency, the jaw-dropping backdrop, the intriguing enemy designs, and the godly boss fight characters. And with that, I'll give the graphics category with an average of 8.3 out of 10. Next is the gameplay category. Honestly, during the first few hours of the game, I don't know what the fuck am I doing. Mesmerized by such beautiful scenery, treated by a lot of visual effects as I kill demons, but lost in the mechanics of the game due to the terrible explanation during the tutorial. One of which is a core mechanic of the game wherein we'll receive blue souls like this and getting it from an elite enemy or a treasure chest, and it didn't make a good job on explaining on what to do with it, so I highly suggest that the tutorial needs some major rework. And I'm not gonna lie, it's really frustrating at the first few hours of the game because the progression is painfully slow and not rewarding. At first I thought maybe it's just me, maybe I just need to get good, but no. I checked some reviews online and see people actually saying the same thing. And it took me 4 to 5 hours worth of gameplay seeing a bit of progression on my character. With all things that I've just mentioned, it will drastically damage the quality of gameplay later in this category. Now let's proceed to the combat system. It is actually really good and I find it satisfying and appealing even with a small choice of weapons in the beginning. Genuinely, it is a lot of fun. Even though it's slow compared to the hyperactive speedrun style that inspired this game, Dead Cells. A lot of people are comparing it to this game, but for a good reason. It copied the exact same formula of Dead Cells gameplay flow. Spawn, explore levels to unlock stuff, kill enemies along the way and grind materials, use portals and shops that is cluttered across the map, defeat boss, or die. and do the same shit all over again. But to me, it's actually okay. It's not a big deal. It's a roguelike. It's how it's supposed to be. GetsuFumaDen still tried to be different. This game has a slower combat experience and every attack feels natural and has a weight on it. Combat-wise, I could still say that it is one of the strong points of this game. But unfortunately, in terms of controlling the character during the platforming section, it is not as smooth and responsive as the combat. It feels a little rigid. And because of that, the control and combat in the gameplay category of GetsuFumaDen receives a solid 8 out of 10. As for the level design, just look at the environment. I love the living backdrops. They are absolutely phenomenal. They give this 3D-like effect and fully immerse the player to the world. And pair that with the terrain that is randomly generated, keeping things fresh for every playthrough, which is a nice touch. But what bothers me are the enemy AI. It is really fun in the first few runs, but once you realize how cheap and simple every enemy pattern is, it won't take too much of your time to figure each one out. Now as for the next subcategory, it is worth noting that the challenge comes from one of the strong points of the game, the boss battles. It's challenging enough to keep you on your toes, but not unreasonably difficult. I'd say that 8 is a pretty generous score in this category. Now in terms of quality, I already pointed out some few already at the start of the category, such as the bad tutorial sections, slow and unrewarding progression, so painfully I'd have to say that the quality of gameplay is gonna be a 6 out of 10. And with that, the average rating of gameplay will be 7.25 out of 10. Story time. This game doesn't have much to offer in terms of story. Not even a voice acting for each character, a matter of fact, though the designs are really cool even though there's only a few of them. Honestly, nothing much I could say about the story of this game. I'm gonna give it a 5 for the narrative and characters. As for the world building, it piqued my interest and enjoy every time I traverse a new gate. I am welcomed with different terrains such as vibrant cities, icy caves and snow, big and bouncy waves of the sea. It really encouraged me to explore even more. Hence, I'll give this world building a score of 8 out of 10. And so the average score for the story category will be only a 6 out of 10. Last but definitely not the least to consider in a game is the sound and music. The music is one of the selling points of the game. It really captures and embodies the Japanese vibe and helps the player to be fully immersed in the world. Additionally, the sound effects per swing of your weapon complements the art style. And with that, I'm just gonna give it a score of 8 out of 10. Time to gather all the scores that I've given, comprising of the gameplay, which is 30%. I gave it a 7.25 out of 10. The story, another 30%, and I gave it a 6 out of 10. 25% for the graphics with a whopping 8.33 out of 10. And last is the sound and music, which is 15%, and I gave it an 8 out of 10. And tallying all up the score of GetsuFumaDen Undying Moon, it receives a score of 7.25 out of 10. And in my book, I believe this is still a good game. So in summary, even though I keep on nitpicking here and there, I still love the game. I think players that enjoy Dead Cells or any other roguelike games would definitely enjoy this game, even though there are some caveats here and there. But the big question is, would I recommend it? To buy or not to buy? If roguelike games are right up your alley, for $10, a standard edition, it's not bad. You'll still have fun. I also highly recommend it if you're eyeing for this game and it's on sale, grab it. And with that being said, thank you. My name is Flazare and this is Noob's Perspective Episode 1. And if you like the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It would really mean the world to me if you do so. I'm just starting out the channel, so please help me out. It would be greatly appreciated. And if you have some concerns, opinions, suggestions, and constructive criticism, I would love to hear them in the comment section. That's it. Thank you and have a nice day.